Krishna Mataji, you can start whenever you're ready. I'm finished going live.
Okay, let me see. Can you make the screen a little bit bigger and make it please?
Yeah, sure. Is this okay?
Okay, and I'm starting from
It's under the red line. Lord Chaitanya also
okay,
quotes.
Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya also quotes a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, in which it is stated clearly that all the incarnations described in the particular verse are either direct expansions of Krishna or are indirectly expansions of the expansions of Krishna. But the Krishna name mentioned there is the original personality of Godhead, and he appears on this earth, in this universe, or in any other universe, when there is a disturbance created by demons, which are always trying to disrupt the administration of the demigods. To understand Krishna, there are three different processes: the process of empirical philosophical speculation, the process of meditation in the mystic yoga system, and the process of Krishna consciousness or devotional service. According in these different processes, one by empiric philosophical speculations, the impersonal Brahma feature of Krishna is understood. By the process of meditation or yoga mysticism, the feature of the Supersoul, the all-pervading expansion of Krishna, is understood. And three, by devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, the original personality of Godhead, Krishna, is realized. In this connection, Lord Chaitanya quotes first from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, which states that those who are knowers of the absolute truth describe the absolute truth in three features. Some describe the absolute as impersonal Brahman, and some describe the absolute truth as a localized, all-pervading supersoul. And some know that the personality of Godhead are one and the same, but according to the different processes adopted, he is realized in different features: Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. Impersonal Brahman. Impersonal Brahman realization is simple realization of the effulgence emanating from the transcendental body of Krishna. We compare this effulgence of the transcendental body of Krishna to the sunshine. Just as the sun disk is there, the sun planet is there, and the sun god is there. And the sunshine is the shining effulgence of that original sun god. Similarly, Brahma Jyoti, the spiritual effulgence, the personal Brahman, is nothing but the personal effulgence of Krishna. To support this analysis, Lord Chaitanya quotes one important verse from the Brahma Samhita, where Lord Brahma says, I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, by whose personal effulgence there is the unlimited manifestation of the Brahman Jyoti, and in that Brahman Jyoti, the impersonal manifestation of Krishna's body as effulgence, there are innumerable universes, each full of innumerable planets. Lord Chaitanya further says that the Paramatma, the all-pervading feature situated in everyone's body, is but a partial manifestation of the expansion of Krishna's. But because Krishna is the soul of the soul, there he is called Paramatma, Supreme Self. Lord Chaitanya now quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam concerning all the talks of Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami. In that verse, it is understood that Maharaj Parikshit, while hearing about the transcendental pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, inquired from his spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami, as to why the inhabitants of Vrindavan were so much attached to Krishna. To this question, Sukadeva Goswami answered that Krishna should have been known as the soul of all souls. He is the soul of all individual souls. He is also the soul of the localized Paramatma. He was acting just like a human being to attract persons to him, and to show that he is not formless. He is as good as other living beings, but he is the supreme, and other living beings are all subordinate to him. All living beings, therefore, can enjoy spiritual bliss, eternal life, and full knowledge in his association. Lord Caitanya also quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita in which the Supreme Lord speaks to Arjuna about his different kinds of opulences, saying that he himself enters into the universe by one of his plenary portions, Garbhodasha Vishnu, and he also enters into each universe as Sharadasha Vishnu, and then expands himself a super soul in everyone's heart. Therefore, he says, if anyone wants to understand the supreme absolute truth in perfection, he must take the process of devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. Then it will be possible for him to understand the last word of the absolute truth. Okay, chapter 6. His forms are one and the same. By devotional service, one can understand that Krishna first all manifests himself as Swayambhuva. His personal form then is the Dekatma Rupa, and then as Avesha Rupa. In these three features, he manifests himself in the transcendental form. The feature of Swambhuva is the form in which one may not understand his other features, can understand Krishna. In other words, the form in which Krishna is directly understood is called Swayambhuva, or his personal form. The Dekatma Rupa is that form which most resembles the Swayambhuva, but has some differences of bodily features. The Tathikapa Rupa is divided into two manifestations called the personal expansion and the pastime expansion. As far as Avesha Rupa is concerned, sometimes Krishna empowers some suitable living entity to represent him. When a living entity acts as a representative of the Supreme Lord, he is called Avesha Rupa or Shaktavesha Avatar. His personal form is again divided into two, Swayam Rupa and Swayam Prakasha. As far as his Swayam Rupa or pastime forms is concerned, it is that form that he remains always in Vrindavan with all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. That personal form is again divided into two, non-categorically as the Prabhava and Vaibhava forms. For example, Krishna expanded himself in multiple forms in the Rasa dance. When he danced with the gopis, he expanded himself in multiple forms to dance with each and every gopi who took part in that dance. Similarly, he expanded himself into 16,108 forms of Dwarka when he married the 16,108 wives. There are some instances of great mystics also expanding their bodily features in different ways. But that sort of expansion by the yoga process is not applicable to Krishna. In the Vedic history, for example, Sharabha Rishi, a sage, expanded himself into 8 forms by the yoga process. But by the expansion was simple manifestation, for Sharabha remanded one. But as far as Krishna is concerned, when he manifested himself in different forms, each and every one of them was separate individual. When Narada Muni visited Krishna at different places at Dwarka, he was astonished at this, and yet Narada is never astonished to see the expansion of the body of Yogi, since he knows the trick himself. Yet in the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that Narada was astonished to see the expansions of Krishna. He wonders how the Lord was presented in each and every house of the 16,108 places in his wings. And stop here.
Yeah, I think we can start the summary.
Okay, just quickly because I think it's time is late now. Uh, So here Lord Chaitanya explains the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how he is understood through different philosophical approaches. He referenced the Srimad Bhagavatam. Second, I need to open my books here. Who incarnates, to restore, he incarnates to restore order, actually. And we know, right? He comes millennium after millennium to restore the principles of bhakti and to annihilate the miscreants. Then Lord Chaitanya outlines the three ways to understand Krishna. The empirical philosophical speculation, which is the realization of the impersonal aspect of God, as known as Brahman. Then the meditation, yoga, the path that allows for understanding the localized aspect of God as Paramatman, who is present in every living entity. It's very much explained by Lord Kapila Dev. And of course, Krishna consciousness. This is the devotional service. So this is the highest realization, and recognizing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the beauty of this is that we can engage in a personal relationship with him. In any other kind of yoga, it's only one in trying to realize the Brahman Jati, but actually Bhakti, Krishna consciousness. Bhakti yoga is the only one that can actually connect us to Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used the verse of the Brahma Samhita and Bhagavad Gita to support the points of how the impersonal Brahman is a manifestation of Krishna's effulgence, and how Krishna is it's a partial expansion actually of him, but emphasizes that Krishna interactions, especially with the evidence of Raja, reveals the person natural, of the soul of the soul of all souls. So ultimately, Lord Chaitanya explains the essence of the Asura truth and how one must engage in devotional service, which allows for the deeper understanding of the nature of Krishna and the manifestations of Krishna, the Swayam Rupa. This is Krishna's original and personal form, and that's the most direct way to understand him. Then the Dekatma Rupa, that is the form that is closely resembles Krishna, but possesses distinct characteristics, right? That personal expansion and the pastime expansions. And the Avesha Rupa, that involves Krishna's empowering certain beings as his representatives. And they're called like Shaktivesha avatars. And I think I'm going to stop here because otherwise we're going to go the whole hour for this. Thank you.